In my videos, I like to present the facts. You may disagree, your choice. But today, this came up in front of me. And so, unlike many of the videos that I see, daily, I just passed over it. But this one, I said, let me see what is said about this. It's presented by an African creator, Kenyan Beast. I've seen some of his work before, and he does a good job setting forth the facts. Though I've never used his material before. Today, I want to use some of it. As a matter of fact, I asked him if I can use some of his material in my upcoming videos, because I want to make a couple of videos about this. And we'll begin here. Now, as I said in the beginning, I don't like to present the facts. And my opinion, I try to tread lightly with that. But I want to say here, apologies not accepted. The time is too late. When you learn that something that you doing or have done is in error, you come to the people and say, we are profusely sorry about what we did. We would like to apologize. Please accept our apology and tell us what you would like us to do to make things right. Nobody has done that to Africa. Caucasian nor Arab. You're understanding how the world, I'm going to use that word correctly this time, because most black people, most Africans don't comprehend the situation as what they see before them. And when I see most Africans, not just the Africans on the continent, please now, don't go there. Because the Africans in the West got their religion they turn the other cheek. You can see it in America today, where black kids going to university end up being hung. Trees in the university, on the university campus. All around the world, the history of slavery is not being taught. And as a matter of fact, rather than teaching about it so that it wouldn't be done again. They're saying that some of the things that were done weren't actually done. We were immigrants to the West. We are immigrants to the West. We weren't brought here enslaved in chains. We immigrated. But that's another day's story. That's a story we told for another day. And our parents took the religion and ran with it, thinking we're going to go to heaven. And we're going to hang around heaven all day, as the famous so-called spiritual said. You're going to sit around heaven all day and God's going to feed us. It ain't going to happen. You're going to have to work. And if you don't work, you will die. You're going to have to make that heaven. See, the Caucasian Joseph Burrell says he's coming to Africa to make a garden. He didn't say he's going to come and sit in Africa all day long in the garden. To make a garden. We got the land and we don't make anything of it. But I stray. This apology thing. For me, it's too late for apologies. It is too late for... Sorry about the interruption here, but the time for apologies has passed. The trials of the perpetrators must begin. The British, the French, German, Spanish, the Portuguese, the Italians, Belgians, the Dutch, everyone. Everyone. And we have to include our favorite people. Those that claim they are the chosen. And I'm not disputing that. They say they were chosen by God. And I'm not disputing that. They have their God. Just remember that. They have their God. And if their God chose them, who am I to say they are not chosen? But they brought harm upon my people, our people. The murderer and the thief, the destroyer, must never go unpunished. they must be given their trial. I said my piece. I'm going to show you some of this video.
And the Western countries that had them under their heel for so long, like the UK where I live, are on the way down and their economies are collapsing. What help do you think we're going to get from those countries that are becoming more powerful? How do you think that the Africans are going to look towards the English with regards to trade deals and buying their uranium off them if we need to? They're not going to look too kindly, are they? Especially if there's absolutely no apologies whatsoever. And as far as I can tell, this country doesn't apologise for jack shit. And the reason it doesn't apologise is because if it apologised for the stuff that it's done, it'd have to start giving back all of the stuff that it's stolen.
Here is a man who's speaking, and I hope you comprehend what he's saying. He is not saying it out of, I have done wrong and I'm sorry. He is saying it out of fear. Fear of what he expects to happen to him and his people. You are watching the actions of a man in fear of his life and his people. Let me continue.
I've spent hours inside the British Museum. That place is an absolute, it's a treasure trove. It's incredible. And it's nearly all nicked.
Why pay to get away once?
Firstly, acknowledged and expressed deep regret over what happened. Deep regret is not an apology.
No, so we choose the language carefully. We expressed deep regret. We said it in Parliament.
The most violent country in the world in the 19th century, by far, was perhaps the most democratic or second most democratic, and that was Britain. You can be democratic at home and ruthlessly imperial abroad. The most violent country in the world since 1950 has been the United States. It's been by far involved
Jeffrey,
in more
stop
women
now.
and more wars.
Jeffrey, I'm your moderator, and it's enough.
Okay, I'm done.
Grand right.
Did you just see what I saw? Did you just hear what I heard? Jeffrey, stop. I don't want to hear that. We don't want that to be told. Do you think this is a man that will apologize?
I've done a number of videos, and we will not stop until we see the rising. So we have a lot of time to talk about this, the rising and falling of the empires. But I came across this white man, I think it's from UK, and he was admitting the mistakes that UK has done to Africa, and he admitted that they need Africa. They need Africa, yes. They need Africa to survive because they don't have resources. They are a tiny island. And I think it's awakening. White nation are awakening, okay? Because for centuries, Britain looked down on Africa. They treated Africa as a child that needed guidance. That is reality, okay? They treated Africa as a continent that has no future without them. They treated Africa as a place to exploit materials, cheap labor, and cultural theft. They built schools that erased the history of Africans. They built churches that erased and demonized African spirituality. They built governments and installed governments that divided black people, that divided UK has done to Africa. And he admitted that they need Africa. Yes. Tables are turning, and let me tell you one thing. This is not just about apology. No. Not about just about coming, ask apology, and then you continue. No. This is more. this is about the truth being forced into the space. Because when the oppressed rise, the oppressor has no choice but to confess. But as I always say, don't be fooled, because many white people confess with their mouth, not because they're sorry, but because they're afraid. They're afraid of losing. They're afraid of losing the power. They're afraid of losing wealth. They're afraid of losing control. And that's why most of them apologize. So don't fall for the baits. Don't fall for talks. Britain is failing. It's falling apart. Africa is standing. They are saying that. And let me tell you, the empire is trembling. And for the first time in generations, even European countries, even France, America, Portuguese, Germany, they are realizing that tables are turning. Yes, tables are turning. And let me tell you one thing. This is not just about apology. No. Let's watch this clip here and then we continue.
And expressed deep regrets over what happened. Deep regret is not an apology.
No, so we choose the language carefully. We expressed deep regret. We said it in Parliament, so said it in the most public way. We've engaged very closely with the Mau Mau veterans who were affected, and we not only paid compensation individually, but also we helped arrange for the monument, which now sits in Uhuru Park. So we've been very open about those difficult bits of our history.
Why fall short of making an apology?
So we haven't made an apology really in any context. It's an extremely difficult thing to do. So what we think we want to do is we want to acknowledge the difficult bits of history. We want to talk about them openly, both to the countries which were affected, but also, as I say, to the individuals and communities. Apology starts to take you into difficult legal territory. And so, as I say, the settlement that we made was an out-of-court settlement, so it showed our sincerity and our desire and our openness about recognising that abuses had been committed. But that was the route that we chose and was accepted by the Mau Mau Veterans Association.
And China's taken over. And China, I heard a couple of people say, well, the dollar will never lose the dollar standard. Are they kidding? China wants to change the standard, the currency standard. And if that happens, that's like losing a world war. We'll be a second-tier country. We'll literally be a second-tier country if that happens. Now, you're losing Brazil. You're losing Colombia, South America. You're losing Iran. You've lost it. You lost Russia. And if you haven't lost them yet, you're going to lose them. China's on the yuan, so China's gone. Then you see France going over. No, what's going on? We're losing. If we lose our currency, that's the equivalent of losing a world war. Our currency is what makes us powerful and strong. And this was unthinkable during the Trump administration.
Waking up in an America where a gallon of milk costs, your grocery bill explodes like rent, and your dream home loses $100,000 in value overnight. Families drown in $1.1 trillion of credit card debt. Hospitals demand $10,000 before you're even treated. Tariffs slam imports with brutal price hikes, and foreign tourists, once pouring billions into our economy, are vanishing as trade wars poison.
Imagine waking up in the heart of Washington, D.C., only to see the largest retailer in American history facing an exodus unlike anything seen before. Walmart, the symbol of U.S. economic power, the pride of American consumer culture, suddenly finds its parking lots empty. Platforms. And for the first time in history, they are keeping profits on African soil. Picture this: Ghanaian cocoa no longer shipped to Europe or America, but processed in state-of-the-art factories.
Every company's saying they've got AI. What's that really mean? At NetSuite, we're proud of the real AI innovations we...
What do you mean when you say America won't stay together? What does that mean?
Good to be with you.
Well, thanks very much for joining us. It's obviously a very febrile time in America at the moment. And, we heard in that clip just there from the governor, that the suspected killer's feelings that Kirk was spreading hate. Let's just start with that point then. How divisive was Kirk, and how divided is the nation of America?
We're at each other's throats, and as I've said many times before, I don't know if this 249-year-old experiment in democracy can stay together. I mean, think about how dangerously divided we are. A horrible act of political violence, an assassination of a private citizen 2 days ago, and the President of the United States. And I know it's dangerous because he's humanly incapable of uniting anything. But Donald Trump, right, instead of bringing the country together, instead of saying everybody stop, everybody stand down, political violence is never acceptable no matter where it comes from, stop this. Instead of saying that, Donald Trump gets in front of cameras, like he did again this morning, and attacks half the country and attacks the left. So we're a nation at each other's throats. We're going to have to hang on for the next 3.5 years because we have the most divisive political figure this country's ever had in the White House right now. So it's a really scary time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you put it very...
So here we sit, right? It's like, and you aptly put it, so it's like our house is on fire, and what does the president do? He pours a bunch of gasoline on the fire, so forget about him. He's the enemy right now. My hope would be that other political figures and media figures would come together. Like, I'd love to see Republican and Democratic members of Congress get the hell out in the country and hold joint town halls together. Travel the country together, Democratic and Republican members of Congress, to model, right, how to have conversations. I'd love to see voices on Fox News and voices on MSNBC do the same thing. It's horribly tragic and ironic. This is the most divided this country has been since just before the Civil War. And we have the most divisive political figure in our history in the White House right now.